Hello, hello, and welcome to AI in Web3 Simply, where we're talking about the latest in AI in Web3 and what does that mean to you as a government organization or business. MG, Jad, how are we doing today?
Yo, Ayman, all's good. How about you?
It's been a busy AI in Web3 week.
Yeah. Lots of new events, lots of new things to talk about.
I bumped
Let's.
into somebody who's in the industry next to the office, and then we were talking about how busy between the OpenAI's announcement, between Google's I/O development conference, and I pointed out that Apple also have in June their own development conference, and there are big expectations there as well. So we're expecting it's a busy period leading up to
Yeah,
the summer.
currently, it feels like a race. Like who can show the public what they're working on first? As you mentioned, OpenAI tried to squeeze in their announcement just before Google did because Google had their announcement just scheduled. So they want to do it as fast as possible. So yeah, lots of new things coming up.
The example I gave about OpenAI making sure that they make their announcements before Google the night before, it's typically, as you can see in drama TV series, the Turkish series or Korean series, where there's always a twist and somebody rushes to do something before somebody else, and you wouldn't believe who did what, and they're trying to upstage each other. So they made sure that the night before, OpenAI made sure that the night before Google's announcement, they have had their own announcements so that whatever Google comes up with, it's less fancy or as equal in some cases. So yes, that's our version of drama and gossip
Yeah.
in the business world.
Yeah, we had a chance to tune in live to the event. Jad, you have some insights about the new GPT 4.0 model that they launched.
Yes, and that was their announcement. And GPT 4.0 is now their OpenAI's most advanced model. So last week we talked about how Sam Altman said GPT-4 is the dumbest
MG,
model.
you notice how he said was?
Yeah.
Was the latest model. It's 3 days old for you, Jad. We're going to have to carry this until GPT-5 in end of next year.
Yeah. So last week we discussed how GPT-4 is a dumb model, and now we got GPT 4.0, which you can talk with it with text, audio, or video. That's one. Two, it has like a human touch and emotions, so you can feel like it's happy for you. So if you're asking it to wish someone happy birthday, you can feel like, oh, happy birthday. It's some kind of emotion in the response. And the difference between this and the previous one is that before, when you send an audio, they had three models processing it. So one very simple model that transcribes the audio or the video. The second one is to analyze it and understand what you want. And the third one is to give you the response back by audio. So for the new one, it's one model that does everything. And they didn't just think of the user, they're also thinking about businesses. So this will cost 50% less than GPT-4. So it's more powerful, faster, more advanced, and for businesses, it's 50% cheaper. So that's OpenAI thinking about everything.
I read a comment where some people were for or against what they have the audio of ChatGPT 4.0 is Scarlett Johansson flirty. So some are pro that type, and others are not.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what or how you look at AI, because we're gonna see a lot of stories of humans becoming maybe attached to AI personas now that AI becoming more advanced, and especially that the demo which OpenAI showcased in their keynote was a very conversational demo, as if you're speaking to someone. You can interrupt them. They have access to maybe some objects or the context or the environment around you just by pointing the camera at it, explaining what it is, maybe helping you do a certain task or helping children with their homework and so on. So yeah, I don't see it as a huge like a stretch that people might find it with or against, that it's such a female toned voice. But yeah, I mean, definitely a preference thing.
MG, let's watch Fast then.
And this is my friend Jordan. Can you guess what we are doing here?
Hey, Bowen and Jordan. Let me guess. With that cake and candle there, it looks like someone's having a birthday. Are you celebrating a special day or just finding an excuse to eat cake? Either way, I'm intrigued.
That's correct.
Yep, so it's very fast. It understands voice notes or videos as low as 2 seconds, which is the average for a human being to understand. And since we're talking about this, one day later, Google had their own announcement, which is Project Astra, which is very similar to GPT-4o, but I noticed some differences. So one, you can annotate. So you open your camera, you start filming, asking Gemini, it's powered by Gemini, by the way. You ask it like, hey, what's that makes sound? It will tell you that it's a speaker, let's say. And you can annotate like, what's this small detail here with the circle or so on, and it understands. Now, during the demo, I noticed something. So the girl doing the demo turns out to the view, asks Gemini like, hey, can you check where am I? And the AI model tells her clearly, yeah, this looks like King Cross Station in London. So I was thinking, so does it really recognize buildings and cities, or it knows the location based on the phone? So yeah, that's basically the difference I found.
It's not hard to believe for a model that can recognize a birthday cake and a candle like OpenAI does. Google's model just identifying the landscape, because tons of landscape are in the web, and I'm pretty sure tons of training model went into this Astra project that had a lot of landscape monuments, that had a lot of maybe architecture typographies and so on. So I'm pretty sure it could sense that.
Yeah, and
are we walking around confused? Because I'm thinking now with you, I did a test earlier today with my Meta Ray-Ban AI glasses. So I pointed at a building and it had the company's name on it. I asked it, what company is this? What do they do? It explained to me that it's an agency, it does branding, communication, and things like this. And then I asked, hey, Meta, do they have job openings? They said, yes, if you want to apply to this company, apply on their website. They have job openings there. I said, hey, Meta, list some of the job openings that you know that are there. It came back and said, there's a branding position and a marketing manager position and so on. So that was the type of discussion I was having while walking and wearing the Meta Ray-Bans and pointing at things there. So I felt this was useful. But then when I listened to you talking about how with Google and with ChatGPT, we're pointing and asking, where am I and what am I looking at or so on, the thought in my head is, are we walking around confused? Are we, what's the issue? Is this because it's an easy use case? So I'm pointing at something and it's fastest. I'm just trying to think of the logic of why is this an easy use case? The only thing in my mind is the device I'm wearing, which are the smart AI glasses, or the phone that I'm holding has a camera, and the AI tool can quickly understand that and analyze it and share that with me. That becomes an easy use case. But for people to walk around and say, what is this and what is that? Unless I'm on holiday walking around. So if I'm thinking day to day, going to and from work every day, what am I asking? Are we walking around confused? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that they just wanted to showcase that our device or our model can or is capable of identifying these landmarks based on its training data. And they wanted to show something that is directly competitive to what OpenAI just showed in their GPT-4o model, which based on the demos I saw, I felt it was a bit more advanced in analyzing the context. But nevertheless, it's still just a demo to demonstrate the capabilities. I can see it useful, for example, if you're traveling somewhere new and it has maps integrated. I'm talking about the glasses, Ayman, and it can see the context around you, and it can see which roads you're taking, and it can tell you, for example, the fastest route that you can get to. Let's say if you're within walking distance or whatever. This maybe you can refute that with, I have my maps on my phone. Why do I need it? I already have directions and so on. But I feel like they're just packing it at the moment with a lot of features that with time we'll see how useful they are. But since you mentioned the Meta Ray-Ban glasses, I've seen some.
But on this MG, The only use case where I feel I want to know what is this around me is if I'm driving somewhere and I see a large piece of land, a large park, a large building while I'm driving, and I'm curious to see what that is. What I do is I open up Google Maps and I try to zoom and understand what that is or so on. So that might be a potential use case, but I don't see this as a make or break. Invest in buying these tools and these entities just for that. So that's why I'm a little bit
So this is
thoughtful. I'm a little bit thoughtful on the part of, are we walking around confused or not?
Yeah, definitely. You definitely bring a good point there, and I still think that this is just look what our device can do. And just I want to on a side note, since you brought up the glasses, I was seeing that some reviews have come up since we've already talked about the Rabbit R1 and the Humane AI chip. That out of all these new AI gadgets, it seems like the most useful to humans is currently the Meta AI, the Ray-Bans, the ones that you have. So I know that you don't own the other devices, but could you pitch in and say, like, yeah, it is a useful device based on the time you've had with it, like, or is it just a gimmick that you're trying out, or the hype might die in a few days or weeks?
The Meta Ray-Ban AI glasses, there's something that might work long-term for everybody to wear wearable devices. What I like about it is that it is very light, relatively light. So I'm the type of person that doesn't like to wear eyeglasses a lot. So all of my eyeglasses have been rimless, very light. I also make sure that I pay extra to crush the lenses so that they're light. With these, they're not heavy. Keeping in mind that there's a camera built in, Wi-Fi connectivity, mics, speakers, and so on. Second, the aspect of looking at things and asking, what am I looking at? What am I seeing? What am I doing with this? What can I do with that? That is also a good use case for exploring what are things around you, and the response is fast. Third, I've tried it for video calls. So I can see the use case is, I've had a scenario where I called up my sister asking her for advice on what to buy. I end up doing on WhatsApp, I take a picture, I send it, then I wait, take another picture, send it, no, this one, not that one, and things like this, or a shaky video call. Ideally, what I would do is I'd wear my eyeglasses, I'd walk through and say, what about this one, what about that one? Should I show that? She's like, okay, fine, this looks good, let's go ahead and buy this as a present. Right, so that's a potential use case there I see on it. Another aspect, MG, I was on a call with you. It was a long call, around 20 minutes, and I was walking around and talking. And towards the end, I asked you, was my audio clear? You said yes. Did you feel it on a headset? You said no. So the only other device where the audio and mic was good for me is my Apple AirPods. Before my Apple AirPods, for audio, when I'm on calls, the common theme is, Ayman, please, if I'm on the car's Bluetooth, please remove me. I can't hear you very well. When I have my Apple AirPods, I've never had that issue or complaint. Now with the Ray-Ban Meta glasses, I'm also not getting any of that complaint. So that means it's a solid device. Plus, and I'm walking around next to the office, there are sounds of cars and trees and swishing of trees and birds and so on. I ask, are you able to hear the background noise? No, it does some form of noise, voice isolation. So there is something to be said about this device. I feel we might use it more than a VR, AR, Apple Vision Pro. So the use cases are different. So I can see us using more and more of these glasses, and I'm trying to use them more and more to figure out how, when, and why.
Yeah, 100%, Ayman. We're gonna move on to Apple. Just last week we mentioned that Apple might stick a deal with Gemini to bring it to iPhones, but the latest reports show that it's actually OpenAI who's closer to doing so. And I'm curious to see if any of you, Jad or Ayman, actually use Siri in your phones, like the current version of Siri, because from iPhone to iPhone, I usually, one of the first things I do while setting up the phone is I turn Siri off, because personally to me, I don't think like I would need it. But with the new demonstrations that OpenAI showed with the 4.0, with the GPT 4.0, and how it can communicate seamlessly, maybe it can, I'm assuming that it maybe have some deeper connectivity to your iPhone, transcribe certain notes, send typical messages just by you speaking to the machine. I feel like this is something for me could bring back my maybe my need to use Siri.
With Siri, Alexa, and Samsung's Bixby, the usage declines with time. Some of the companies have even been reducing the number of employees working on those products due to low usage. With generative AI coming along, those same companies are hiring back again to improve that capability, because now there's a much smarter logic and better, faster answers that makes the voice use case come back again as a possible use case. Because when you're using the older version of the tools, they're very limited. Skip this song, call this person, read this. So it's just, there is little to be done, and it misunderstands a lot of this. With the AI tools, if you're looking at what OpenAI have been doing with their ChatGPT 4.0 and others, there is a solid use case for what you can do with back and forth discussions. Especially that there are more and more people that are in the AI space. They've been experimenting with long discussions with AI tools, and they come back talking about how this is a good discussion, a good relationship, in a sense where it's a fruitful aspect. I'm looking forward to trying that myself with 4.0. I've always found the older model slower, so my patience level runs low. I'm a hyperactive person, so I need to have a faster discussion. So with the demos I saw for ChatGPT's 4.0, the new one they released a few days ago, there is a use. They're faster, so I really want to try a lot of back and forth to see how the discussion would go with AI and how comfortable would I be with it.
Yeah, 100%. Jad, do you by any chance use Siri? Have you ever used it?
Actually, yeah, as Ayman mentioned, I just use it like, please, sometimes that works. So I'm listening to a voice note, I need to give someone feedback. So while listening to the voice note, I tell Siri, hey Siri, please start writing this email, open Gmail, start writing this email. I repeat after the feedback that I'm listening in my ear. So that's one way to do it. But call this person, call that. But I think it really needs to be more advanced, like the ones we just talked about today, so more people can use it.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to move on to Google's event. I know Jad, you discussed briefly Project Astra, but we're going to talk a bit about the other things that were announced in the event. So first, they did announce that they launched the more capable, more efficient version of Gemini, which is Gemini 1.5 Pro. We have a small clip of the feature.
This summer, we're bringing new planning capabilities to Gemini Advanced. Soon, Gemini will be able to reason, plan, and think 2 steps ahead for the next time you plan a trip. Start with a prompt. Gemini can break down everything from locations, activities, meal preferences, dates, and deliver a personalized itinerary. A fully baked multi-day plan in a new dynamic UI. Coming soon to Gemini Advanced this summer.
Yeah, so this is a specific feature or a specific use case that they showcased. Something else that they did, and I saw direct backlash on X about this, was that they wanted to include.
There's backlash on X. People complain?
Never. It never happens, Ayman. Never will, never has been. It's never the case. What the announcement was that they wanted to include AI in Google search. People are used to Google search. They want to change the experience for users by summarizing user reviews, maybe compiling different articles into one. They want to include AI into these Google searches, and people are not here for it. I saw somewhere mentioned that they might have a opt out of AI when we're searching. I hope they do, because I'm still unsure about, maybe this would be even more efficient way to browse the web, but we have to test it to find out. They also announced something else. We're going to watch a small video about it, which is Ask Google.
Hi, I am here at Google I/O, and today we introduce search in the Gemini era, including a new way to ask questions of a video right here in Google search. So I bought a record player recently, but when I go to play this vinyl, this thing keeps sliding off. I have no idea how to fix it or where to even start. Before, I might have asked a bunch of questions, trying to figure out how to troubleshoot, but now I can take a quick video and ask Google, why will this not stay in place? And in a near instant, Google gives me an AI overview and looks like I need to balance the tone arm. I can even dig in deeper. Thanks, guys. Hi.
So yeah, what they're showcasing is, my bad. Hi again. What they are showcasing is that instead of you typing in different searches or different prompts into, let's say, an AI LLM or Google or whatever, you can just point your camera and it gives you the solution to your task or problem or whatever. All cool features, all productivity enhancers, but one direct competitor that they announced was Google Veo, which is a direct competitor to Sora. So Sora is a text-to-video. It's a text-to-video machine. So they announced Google Veo, also a text-to-video that only produces video in 1080p for now that are 1 minute long.
Today, I'm excited to announce our newest, most capable generative video model called Veo. Veo creates high-quality 1080p videos from text, image, and video prompts. It can capture the details of your instructions in different visual and cinematic styles. You can prompt for things like aerial shots of a landscape or a time-lapse, and further edit your videos using additional prompts. You can use Veo in our new experimental tool called Video FX. We're exploring features like storyboarding and generating longer scenes. Veo gives you unprecedented creative control. Veo builds upon years of our pioneering generative video.
So basically he goes on and elaborates what this Veo can do. But the takeaway from all of this is that Google announced a bunch of cool features, OpenAI announced a bunch of cool features, and the only one that's benefiting from all of this is the consumer, because it's a very fast-paced environment, especially nowadays. There's a ton of funding in the AI space, and the more advancements that we get, the more basically we can be living in the future as soon as possible. So I think it's a win-win for us. It's still a heavy competition for maybe Meta, Google, and OpenAI, but I mean this is how different companies work, and yeah.
What other topics do we have for today?
Yeah, we have the final topic, which is VaynerX. VaynerX. They did finally launch on the Nasdaq. So, Web3, do you have some details more about this?
Actually, I checked the prospectus, but I'm not gonna lie, I didn't understand anything. It's very detailed. It's very long. I'm not a financial guy at all.
So you're not we thought we were a financial analyst who was going to go through prospectus and give us a breakdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. Too bad. If only MG there was like an intelligent tool that you can upload a file to and say, hey, tool, let's call it. What would you like to call it, MG?
KB4.
Hey, KB4. I'm not a financial analyst, and this is a prospectus. Can you break it down to me for in that, and make it short and bullet points for me to use in a show that I was supposed to prepare for before I show up?
I did that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but you have to, because I ask specific questions like what are the top 3 most companies with the most net profit. The answers are like, it's not mentioned in this document, but the top one is VaynerMedia, for example, and so on.
Yeah. I also tried it, Ayman, and it said you've reached your GPT-4o quota for the day, so I was unlucky there.
VaynerX is the company, it's the holding company by the Gary Vaynerchuk, and it has a series of different businesses. And he's an entrepreneur. He builds multiple businesses and grows them, and a lot of them fall under the VaynerX brand. VaynerMedia, Vayner Speakers, and there are a long series of those. And Gary Vee has been very clear when he's been asked, "Are you preparing the company for being sold?" And acquired by other agencies, whether it's his VaynerMedia and so on. He says, no, we're not, we're culturally not the right fit, and we're already too big to be acquired and so on. So the other path for growth would be an IPO, which is a unique business aspect that takes a lot of time to build. And also him being the always on marketer, he also launched his book the same day that they were at the Nasdaq. So if you look at his tweet the day of the Nasdaq, I thought I was going to look at Nasdaq behind the scenes information and so on. It was mostly his book. He spoke about it on air. He spoke about the book and the IPO, and plus there are a lot of people who might think Gary Vee is not very truthful in his business and his growth. With going on IPO, the financial books are all open. So whatever he's been running his businesses and their revenue and their growth for them to reach an IPO, that's a moment of truth for him in front of the naysayers who have had doubts, and they can zoom into. But even I'm sure that the naysayers are going to zoom in and try to find things that they can complain about. And my answer will be, go have your own large company that you will IPO.
Yeah, I feel like he's just implementing the theory which he's talked about in his book, Day Trading Attention. I haven't making the best use of the attention of the IPO to announce your book launch so that you can boost your sales. That's typical Gary Vee, just making the best use of the attention. So I think that's pretty genius, to be honest.
Always on as a marketer.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it from our side today. That's what's happening today in AI and Web3 that stood out for us and we wanted to share and discuss with you. We'd love to see you again every Thursday at 5 p.m. Dubai time, unless I have calls that delay me like it was today. And thank you for tuning in and joining us.
Thank you.